All right, welcome everyone to the Monday live trading session with the Fivers. And today we have an exciting episode. Not only do we have the regular giveaways, we also have Janis here with us, the Conscious Trader, right, on YouTube, and right?
Hi, Jonathan. Hi, Alex. Yes, that's correct. Super happy to be here.
Awesome. Good to have you. And all the links to Yiannis' social media page should all be in the description. Guys, let us know how's your weekend been, and let us know where you guys are from in the comments.
I also want to give a little bit of a brief introduction to people that don't know Yiannis, because Yiannis has been at the Fivers for quite a long time. I remember first seeing him in the Scruffy Squad with Gary Langley. You were probably like the youngest person there. So I went in there, I was like, gosh, who's that young person? He just looks a little like the same age as me. This is cool, you know. And then obviously you were doing the Fivers Bootcamp, and you found your feet with your trading, and you flew past that. You just flew from there, and you became a funded trader. You also you got loads of growth as well. Now you've gone on to different things like Darwin X, and you're building up your trading community. So from just something small, from you first getting into trading as a pivot from all of your professional athletic stuff, which you've got to tell everybody about, because I know that has a big impact on your trading. You kind of flourished into this new industry, and you've done really well, and you're impacting a lot of people. So thank you for that, because it brings a lot more people into the industry, and it teaches them the right mentality, and it teaches them the right way of trading, whereas a lot of people do the absolute opposite. And it's nice to have you here, man.
Thanks, Alex. What a nice intro. That's one of the best I've had, I think. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you, Alex, for jumping in and taking over that intro. That was a beautiful.
Oh, did you have something planned, man?
No, well, not anymore. But thank you. That was way better than what I had planned.
I've been trying to get Yiannis on to do some trading rooms with us for ages, so it's good. It's exciting to have him
here. We are.
I've actually been, I've been following you since before I started here with the Fivers. So yeah, I do really love your content, and honestly, guys, you gotta check it out. So go to the description, give him a follow, and you know what? I'm pretty sure a lot of people on here already know. But for those of you here, maybe you can talk a little bit about your journey. Where you started, and
Yeah, so it's trading is quite an interesting one. I never thought I'd be trading, especially day trading, scalping. I would say my character is more slower than what you think about in terms of scalping and day traders. But trading came about 2000. I started thinking about it before the Tokyo Olympics. So before this career, I was a strength coach, performance data analyst for the Olympic team in the UK for canoe slalom. Yeah, so quite a different career then. I started.
That's
London
amazing,
Olympics.
though. That's amazing, because I've seen, I'm sure, and I really want to hear about what took, the knowledge you took from that world and that career, and how that helped me, in the trading world. I'm sure a lot of people are interested to hear that.
It's massive. I think being surrounded by people who are trying to win gold medals is just seeing high performance, seeing like the 1% of the 1% in the world. Literally, you're competing.
It kind of excites me just knowing that there's people out there like that.
It's almost like I see trading a little bit like that. The only difference is that everyone has a pass in trading. You can just, it's like going to Premier League and playing against Man United from your first day. Whereas in sport, you would never get that opportunity. You would have to go through divisions, and then slowly, if you're very extremely good and you get some luck without injuries, talented, then you eventually one day potentially have one match. But here you can just load any account, and you're in with the big boys. But yeah, with the elite sport, definitely helped me. We had a psychologist on the team as well that would work with us as well, in terms of how we can perform under pressure. Because it's one thing the athletes performing, but you've got a whole big team behind them, where if you freeze in the last seconds of the competition and you can't give them the right information, then how do you deal with that stress? So multiple links between elite sport and trading. But after that, after I left, my last Olympic cycle was Tokyo. I did London, Rio, and Tokyo. Been with them for like 11 years or something. So it was so fulfilling. I was like, what's next? Me and my wife, we were like, where we're going to live, what we're going to do. I didn't want to be away from family for so long. And trading was always there in the background. I was like, oh, imagine I can analyze athletes. Could I analyze charts? It's pretty much charts in sport, but charts in numbers. I always got that. I started watching some YouTube videos. I ended up looking at like penny stocks and all that side of trading. Luckily, I didn't get involved in that. Well, but some people can do that, but I think it's luckily I didn't do that. And then ended up doing a course in trading. And I was very lucky to land on, as my first, I would say, second person involved in trading was Scruff.
Yeah.
And I think I say lucky because you can be very unlucky with who your first experience is going to be in terms of education.
Yeah.
So yeah, big Scruff, like amazing personality, like super amazing mentor for me. Helped me massively in the way I trade now. So I did that. But going back to why I got involved in trading is actually nothing to do with. It was actually a mistake on one of the pay slips that I was getting from my previous job, accounting.
Wow. I didn't know. This is interesting. Tell us what happened with that. This is an interesting way of getting into trading.
Yeah, it's the most weird way of getting into trading. But I basically was supposed to be paid a couple of grand or something. I was doing personal training at the time after the Olympics to like actors and high-end people. And I was supposed to be paid, I don't know, 20 odd sessions. They paid me for like 15 sessions. I was like, what's going on here? I'm working hard. Where's my money? Went to HR and they were like, I'm sorry, but the tax is right, whatever, your certain bracket is like this, but it doesn't work like this, and you're going to get a lot less money than you think you're going to get. So I go home, I was like absolutely gutted. I was like, oh man, I've worked so hard for this. And I go on Coursera and I find a course on accounting to try and figure out why I was getting paid less, because I couldn't understand it.
Yeah.
So I spent like I did the course in like a week, literally day, night. And I went back and I said, look, it's your mistake. You've put me in the wrong bracket of the taxation. You've put the whole money on the same taxation where it should be part in one, part in the other. And that was the best trade I've ever done in my life in terms of like worth doing a course to get my money back. So I did that. And then after a follow-up of a course, they said, we think, when they suggest second courses, said, we think you'll be interested in investing. So I did that one out of interest. And then after that, I said, what about Forex? I think you're going to be interested in Forex. So one after the other. And then I ended up like seeing the candle.
Down the rabbit hole.
Cool. Yeah.
Gosh.
So the algorithm just kept providing you with courses and it's amazing. And then you got stuck with Forex trading. So today is for the Forex market your main trading market, or are you looking at other markets as well?
I'm a bit boring. I'm a bit of a one-trick pony. I just trade the pound dollar.
All right.
I say that for me, it's not boring at all.
That moves.
It moves really well. I've now started trading a little bit the euro dollar as well. But my main assets, and Aussie dollar a little bit, but main assets is the pound dollar. That is the main one that I would turn up. Like, that's what I watch. If you watch any of my live streams, you'll be like, pound dollar again, pound dollar again. Yeah. That's what works for me.
Yeah.
So would you say, you're on one pair, so you're basically, I guess you're, day trading and you're trading the lower time frames, right? On this one, otherwise, there might not be as many opportunities just looking at one pair, right? Would you say that would you say this is because, you know, you have that type of mentality? Because at the beginning, you said that you're, you know, you might not, you know, look like the type of person that, you know, is into that fast-paced, you know, low time frame trading. But would you say that, you know, you have the right, you know, personality to be on the lower time frames?
I think so. I think the biggest learning in terms of me of trading has been understanding what I require as a trader to be successful. So not more. Scruffy gave me like some ideas about levels and all these things. Then ICT gave me some really cool stuff about entries and looking at intraday bias and so on. But the biggest thing for me was literally trying to understand, how do I react when I'm in drawdown? How do I react when I'm in a win and profitable trade? Why can I not leave the runners go and I have to close trades? All this understanding of what I needed in terms of my nervous system and my previous experiences, how to react to the markets. I think that was the biggest. That's the biggest edge I have around other traders.
Yeah.
I feel like
great.
I feel like that's where your profession before that comes into this now, is because you've probably looked at a lot of athletes that had a massive goal, maybe didn't reach that goal, or maybe came short, and now mentally they're stuck with this kind of this thing in their head that's preventing them from moving on and moving forward. And probably you as a coach or somebody a part of that team probably helped maybe get them out of that. And you've now probably got to do that for yourself as well with your trading. What would you say for that, Yiannis? Is that something that is quite important?
Absolutely. I think I put a video out there when I had the 22K loss, which was one of my biggest losses of my trading career. And that was something that was hit me so hard. I thought I was, by now I would be in 4 million accounts. But then obviously, unfortunately, I lost my dad during that period. Things weren't working really well. I let the runners run a little bit too much in drawdown, didn't close it. But the good thing was, look, after so much drawdown, I was like, if I don't close it now, I'm just going to blow up everything. So I managed to do the hard thing, and the healing process started coming in. And I do a lot of work in terms of NLP work around NLP. I mean, neuro-linguistic programming, because my wife's involved in that area. So I was doing a lot of work to understand, because when we do things, when we react to the markets, it all goes back to how we can deal with our nervous system and how we can neutralize our nervous system as much as possible, because we can't. The subconscious mind, that's always taking over. But what can I do? What clever little tools can I use to put myself in a place where I can deal with the situation better? So I did a lot of work on that over the summer, and I recovered pretty much 10K of that. So, and now the account is back and being healthy again. So
that's amazing.
That year of learning has been, like 20 years of experience.
I hope you don't mind me actually making a note of that, because I actually remember when that happened, and I see lots of people get into big drawdowns, and I see lots of boom and bust traders. We had this one guy that was taking the hyper growth, and he got to 640 in the space of 2 weeks or something absolutely ridiculous. And we were like, in a minute, he's going to blow up. And the day after, blew everything. Now, you were in a drawdown, and closing it before, when you knew you had to close it, was something that a lot of people don't have. And that's where you gained a lot of respect here in the office, that people were just like, he gets it. Because everybody goes through times where they make a mistake, or they get trapped, or they either get trapped in a certain position. But for you to be able to close it and then slowly recover from that is pretty impressive, man. So yeah, I remember
it's painful. It's painful.
Yeah,
like making $500, $600 a day and suddenly going back to making $50. It's tough. It's tough to digest, but you have to do it because the account is so much smaller. And if you trade like you used to, then you're just going to blow that account.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that sounds like it's been a pretty tough times for you, after in that recovery phase, getting back to recovering that loss. And I think the fact that you're here, the fact that you did that is just a testament to your skill as a trader, I would say, because very, very few people would, like, I know a lot of people probably quit at in a period at a time like that. So I think that's amazing to be able to, like, slowly but surely crawl your way back, and I don't know, man, that's pretty cool to hear. You've been able
I
to
think
go
the
through
big
that.
thing is as well healing, which is like, I like the way that you say healing, because a lot of people would take that loss and instantly have this thing inside them in their chest, I've got to get back in, I've got to get it back. And the thing that they don't do is take a step back and understand they've just been hurt. They've just, you've just had your muscle just rip. You've got to take some time just to get back to the point where you can lift the same weight.
You're absolutely right. And with my guys in the community, I always say to them, a lot of people, what we do as traders, we get a big hit. And what we normally do is just leave and try let time kind of heal itself and then come back and do the same things again. Yeah. Whereas I think a better approach is, when something like big happens to you, really use it to understand, because when you're in a fear response, or like you can't act, it's almost like in that video you can see me clicking the button, and it's almost like fear is overwhelming, but the sensation of being able to surpass that, and you do it anyway, that's what builds your foundation and your building blocks for when it's going to come again. That's going to feel a little bit easier and a little bit easier and a little bit easier, and then closing trades where they're bad, you don't even think about it. It's just a normal thing you do as a consistent trader. And the more you drill that in there, the more it becomes a habit. And when it becomes a habit, you don't get yourself in these scenarios.
That's a very, very good point.
It's very hard to do. Very hard.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm the type of guy that, if I go into drawdown, or if I make a big mistake, a big loss, I take a break. I really, and I've been thinking like that for years. I know now for the past like 1 or 2 years that I shouldn't take a step back. But I do think that I'm slowly but surely working my way into, as soon as there is a situation where I have a big drawdown or a big loss, I try to just face it head on and really look at what happened here and how can I fix it. And then, like you said, create a routine of thinking in those terms, and it was really from, I think it was the book, but I can't remember the book, but Jared, is it Jared something wrote a book, the trading psychology? I can't remember the name right now, but I think he talks about this, right, where a lot of people think they should take a break, while what you should do instead is, face it head on and take care of the actual problem, make sure that it doesn't repeat itself. Because if you do take a break, you come back, you feel better, you're most likely going to repeat that cycle over and over again. And honestly, it's something that I'm still kind of working on, because when I do have my big losses or my drawdowns, I tend to take a break, but so I'm trying to work on that. We're all humans, right? We all make those mistakes.
Yeah. But the good analogy is oh, sorry, I was going to say, the good analogy is like when you have a murder in a town, the police don't say, "Oh, we'll take a week and we'll go and see what happens just to recover from that murder." They have to go in straight away and do forensics, surround the areas with multiple police people to find out where the person has gone in case there's a killer or something. Why? Because the data in that moment, in the heat of battle, is the real data. Yeah. Is the data that's going to be meaningful next time this appears. But if you go to, you wait for a week, then you're not treating the cause that caused you to make the mistake and be in that scenario. You're treating a lesser version, because the time has passed. You're feeling a little bit more comfortable. Maybe you're not seeing the price action the same way. Maybe your psychological state is in a little better state. So you're like, oh, maybe I was having a bad day. But that bad day could have been, right, I closed that because I felt fear. I probably felt fear because of my childhood wounds being triggered because My dad would come in and shout at me because I wasn't doing my homework or whatever. If you go into like trauma work and NLP work, we never do those connections. We just go back and say, like, everyone has these tough days, guys. Let's just brush it off and we'll come back and revisit this and we'll be better. And unfortunately, that's not going to get you one step closer. It's just getting you closer to repeating what you did before.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you're very focused on the mental aspect of trading. So would you say that, if you have to look at it from, in percentage terms, would you say that, you're more towards, your technical edge or a mental edge here? Like where's your main focus and what's the most important aspect of trading in your opinion?
I think I love this question because how many people, like out of 300 and how many people are in here, 340, I would argue that everyone in here, if we had a conversation about Bollinger Bands, RSIs, levels, EMAs, SMAs, everyone will be able to say, yeah, I know what that does. I know how to put it on the chart. I know how to trade it when that EMA crosses that one. I can do that simple strategy, or if RSI is oversold or overbought, I can do that strategy. Technicals, it's almost like a tool. It's nothing more than a tool.
Yeah.
And when people identify with the tools, then they don't know what they are as a trader. They don't know how to behave around. They just know how to use a tool, but they don't know how they're going to react in certain environments and what the market's going to throw. So to answer your question, I'm 99% psychology. And 1% is my sort of some logical things that need to happen, like risk management, some entries, understanding price action, understanding biases, understanding a little bit around fundamentals. But when that all comes, I would say that just gives you an entry. What you do after that and how you behave around and manage the trade, I think that's the 99%, which you do need to spend a lot of time within to identify how you react within 5 minutes of the trade. If the trade is going on for 4 hours and you haven't got your profit, how do you react then? And so on. And you get that experience. As much as you're putting effort in technicals, put that effort in identifying what you need as a trader. That's going to give you a huge edge, massive edge.
I think that's a great answer, because that's something we say quite often in these live streams, that, technical analysis is quite simple, while trading is very, very hard. And for a lot of people, when they hear that, it's like, that makes no sense, because technical analysis is trading. Well, it's not really, a trend. You can identify a trend and say, oh, I want to be, I want to enter that trend. I want to buy in that uptrend, which is quite simple. But then how you manage that trade based on your emotions will really, set you aside from, that's the difference between a good trader and a great trader. So when you say 99% mental, I think that's important for people watching this to realize that, I can give you a system. I can give you a system, say like, hey, buy support and sell resistance in an uptrend. And I said, repeat that over 100 times, and then you go live. And if you don't have the mental work, you're still not going to be able to, be profitable, even with a profitable system. So I think that is super, super important. I think,
I think one, like before, sorry, the last bit on that, there's so many people there's so much knowledge around strategy, right? You had Scruffy on here. Scruffy literally walked you through an empty chart into a full-on trade. I've seen your videos. You've done breakthroughs of strategies with stochastics and so on. Like you just need to find one that you like, and then just don't jump on strategy, because it doesn't change. The percentage of change is so small to the other things that need to improve, where the strategy doesn't. The worst thing you can do is, I followed Yiannis, I did his repositioning strategy or whatever, I used Scruffy's levels, then you jump on, didn't work. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to learn ICT. ICT doesn't work. What I'm going to do, Jonathan, I'm going to do that is the least of your worries. If you're doing that, you need to check on yourself to be able to get out of it. You need to get out of that loophole.
Yeah, I think it's easy for for people like us that have professionally studied technical analysis. We understand this because we understand that TA it is what it is. It's market structure, it trends, it ranges, and it can't be much else. It's just you get candlesticks, you get trends. All markets tend to trend. Why? We don't really know. We don't care. We just know they trend. And the very basics of technical analysis is quite simple. And when you understand this, you start to understand that, well, if it's not in the system, it has to be in my head. Because when you start hopping from system to system, you start realize that, wait a minute, these systems, they're all the same, but it's just different people looking at charts in different ways. And when you understand this, you understand that it's really your mental game that you had to work on before you become profitable.
Absolutely.
These things is why this is why I love trading so much, because everything that we're talking about is directly, this is life in general. Everything that we're talking about, you can put this, it doesn't have to be just for trading. You can put this to your relationship, you can put this to your career, you can put this into so many different parts of your life. And trading, what you see in your charts, is just a reflection of kind of where you're at as a person, in my opinion. That's why I like it so much. For me, it's like a very much of a tool in development. When I'm messy with my charts, it's normally something in my life's a little bit messy, and I've got to sort a couple of things out. Like, that's what I love about trading. I love listening to different people's perspective on TA and psychology, and it just backs that up, that everything that you learn, you can put it to other things in your life as well.
The last thing on the psychology part, because I know a lot of people listen to this psychology, NLP work, trauma work. What is all this? This is not trading. What is this? Every day you turn up to your screen, you're not the same person from yesterday. The weather's different. You've had a different chat with your wife, a different condition that you've been in that day. You're not an RSI that goes up and down. So you spend the least time understanding you, but you put all your effort on understanding the RSI. That's a recipe to disaster. Yeah. How do I know in what condition I am to take a trade today? If I don't know that, how do I feel when I have 2 coffees or 3 coffees? All these influences your mind, which is your execution. And not only that, your subconscious mind does a lot of work without you knowing. So not putting the effort towards psychology and understanding yourself, it's almost like you're ripping your 80% improvements that you could have. You would pay a lot of money for 80% improvement on technicals. But when it comes to psychology, you don't even spend 1 penny. And we read some books, I guess. Most of the people read some books.
What would be your recommendations for books for somebody to start getting more into NLP, to understand a little bit more about themselves? Where's the best place for them to start?
It's not a trading book, but I would say Body Keeps the Score. That is one of the.
Write that down.
Yeah, it's a book about understanding how we behave with patterns from our childhood, and why we're really actually just children, and how we're now adults and behaving like adults. But a lot of the stuff when we're getting angry, when we're shouting at people, and we're like, oh, Alex annoyed me today. He was so annoying. That's nothing to do with your situation now. It's just a pattern that's been brought up from your childhood, and you're just reliving it now. Now imagine you throw you into a chart where you're constantly seeing the price going blue, red, blue, red, 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 blue, red. That amplifies so much. And if you have the tools, because there are tools out there, to be able to recognize when you're doing that, you can stop yourself from being in situations where you would normally not be able to do or react to.
I remember when I started trading, I joined a community, and they had an NLP coach in the community, helping traders. And I never understood. I'm like, what is this? This is weird. Why should I join a session with this guy talking about my mother, my childhood? I want to be making millions on a 1 minute chart. Like, this is weird. And then a couple of years later, I understand why the people that went to his his live streams and his courses, I now understand why they're so good at trading, because they began, focusing on the right thing. Lights on in my head and my heart. Wow, man. What's going on here?
The thing is, when you start realizing you're improved, let's take we're traders, right? The most thing that impacts us is profits. When someone sees something working and you're profitable, then they will do everything to get there. Everyone who shows profits, they're like, wow, that's what I need. When you do the work, because they call it work in this field, they're doing the work, understanding how you're behaving in different scenarios. And you start, it's almost like the Matrix unveiled. Like, it's almost like, you're that pill, you have the pill and you're like, wow, I know why I'm reacting now to this trade in this manner. So what do I need to do? I kind of need to descale my alertness into this trade. I'm a bit edgy. I'm a bit eager to get into this trade. Okay, I'm just going to leave it for another 3 candles and see if I really want to get in. I'll just allow 3 candles to get me into this trade, or I will lower my lot size because I feel like I really need to take part, but I don't understand why. I'm really eager right now.
Love that.
And then you just throw in a small lot, and suddenly you see the price going against you, and you're like, wow, if that was a 1 lot, I would have been in a big situation right now. So now you've learned, you've paid nothing, you've paid 1/10 of your position, but you've educated yourself on that eagerness to get in. Next time that occasion comes up, it's like, oh, there it is again. There's the eagerness to get in. Is this a behavior that's repeatable? When is it coming? Is it coming when I'm tired? Is it coming when I see setups that are wrong? Start tracking that, and you can actually do things to change that pattern so you don't have the eagerness to get in when you're trading.
Mm-hmm. You got guys getting value on value for this.
It's amazing to see your. I have my journal, right? I write it in it every day, and I have a habit tracker. So I track: have I meditated today? Have I worked out? Have I, usually I do go on like an hour walk every morning. I meditate 10 minutes, and that's like that is very that kind of grounds me for the morning and for the London Open here when I start trading, and I can clear, like, I see such a good confidence between when I don't meditate, like when I don't even use the journal or the habit tracker with my P&L. It's insane. Like, for this January, for example, I was like spot on with taking care of myself, working out, going on the walks, and meditating, and P&L went up quite a lot. I'm like, this is awesome. I'm making a lot of money here. And then for some reason, I think it was when my son got a cold, and I had to take care of him, and because I'm working from home, right? And I slowly but surely saw the P&L started to tick down, and in the beginning of February, I looked at my journal and my P&L, and like the very same day when I stopped meditating and start working out, I saw like that's the top in the P&L. That's when I began, taking impulsive trades, started over trading, and I gave it all back. Like, I gave it all back. And I think that is like, as soon as you start feeling that you're, as soon as you start feeling like you're not 100%, in that mental, balance zone, you got to take a break from trading. I really do believe that. So for me, I also try to, work a lot on my mental edge, because my mental state of mind will tell me if it's time to take a break or not. And so far that has worked well. When it works very well. When it doesn't work, not so well.
A question would be, like, you had the previous state of mind that was perfect and it was working and was very efficient. It was almost like a lot of the times it feels easy when things are coming to us easy. And then there's another reality where everything is coming hard. You're flicking from the euro to the Aussie to let's go to some exotics and see what's going over there. It's not so easy. You're not seeing the market. And those are 2 different states. And you can start characterizing these states. Like, what does that state feel like when I'm meditating, when I'm exercising, when I'm jumping onto the charts? What does the other state feel when I'm anxious and I've probably not worked out, I haven't slept enough? And you start building these sort of almost like avatars, if you want, of yourself. And you're like, which avatar am I today? It makes it easier to understand in what condition you are. And if you're not the avatar you want to be, you know how to do it because you've done it before. So just do what you did before that was working, and you'll slowly see the different behaviors coming in when you're starting trading. That's what I do anyway. I try and keep my day super simple, super repetitive. I know it's been working, so I just put myself in the same patterns every day to get before I start trading. And you notice it when you're not in them.
Yeah, and when you do feel it, because I from reading the book, Trading the Zone, I like to, that book, like for me, that's like my trading Bible. And I always say, like, I want to try to, if I'm not in the zone, I'm not supposed to be trading. Would you say that's a good tactic, or would you say that you have different avatars of yourself and those different avatars trade different ways? Or would you say that when you're in the zone, you trade, and when you're not that person, you're not supposed to be trading?
I generally don't shy away. So like if I'm in a different state of mind, for me, it's like a challenge. It's like, okay, I've had an argument with my wife or whatever. I'm not in the right state. What is that going to bring onto the table for me to make decisions today? So maybe I'm going to be a little bit more angry. So I'm going to be a bit more harsh with my decisions. So is there something I can do to bring myself to the state that I want to be? And they're different tools. Like there's tools that are called perceptual positioning, how you can use different perceptions of yourself to change your state of mind. There's so many tools that you can use, but you basically, it's almost like an indicator for your mind and your nervous system, how you can start doing parts work. Different parts of you start doing negotiations with the different parts of you to find a common ground, because one is more angry, the other one is more calm. They can't coexist. So you kind of do the work to bring yourself to a neutral ground before you start entering the trade. And a lot of the times you won't be in that neutral state. So you'll see you're pushing towards one or the other, but because you've done the work to try and bring in neutrality, you can notice it more. It's like, wow, I'm getting really angry with this trade now. It's a bit, well, why am I in this trade? Why do I listen to Tom or whoever who told me to get in? It's like, oh, I was thinking the other side and I got in because of him. This is not normal behavior. This is just our ego being inflicted wounds and trying to be defensive about it. Mm-hmm. So if you can understand what you're doing, why you're reacting to different situations, and you don't blame others because you're the person making the executions and you're the person having to deal with your trades, you're the only person who's going to press the button. Then you slowly evolve to a trader where you're like, during the lives, I will have 5 people saying different things. It's almost like that tree where the information comes through, it rattles you a little bit, but then the tree just becomes another stable tree. It doesn't always move. It always comes back to neutrality. So when that information comes in, shakes you a little bit, boom, you're back into your zone.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's well said. Should we jump on
the charts and have a look at what's going on? See if we can.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe just look if we do have any questions about trading psychology. Maybe if we do have anything like that, we can talk about that now.
Yeah. Or
else we'll move on to the chart. It doesn't look like we have. But if you do have any questions on, the mental side of trading, because we've been talking about this for 40 minutes now, and I think it's time to move on to look at the actual
charts. Funny
though,
because the only questions are about technicals.
Yeah, it's like just like we said, and I think this is why people the failure rate in the industry is so high. First of all, everyone can become a trader. Just open a brokerage account, boom, you're a trader. But not everyone has the mental skills necessary to deal with the problems that we talked about. And I think that's those who can.
They're scary. It's scary things to address. Everything that Yiannis is talking about is a scary subject for a lot of people. I can say it's a scary subject for me to look at the deep down things that may be holding you back into your trading, but holding you back from many different things as well. You've got to unfortunately visit those places, and from them you've got to kind of get over. You've got to put things in place to make sure that they don't affect you in certain ways, and it's a lot of hard work, but that's why trading is not an easy thing. So
I remember when one of my mentors said, trading is all about visiting the deep, dark places of your own psychology. And it took a while for me to realize that, but yeah, it's really true, because it's only you in the markets. Like, it's only you in the markets, and every mistake, every failure is on you. You have no one to blame. And it's both the beauty and the scary thing of trading, really.
Yep.
All right, Alex, are we making money today?
Well, we made a little bit of money today. So this is the second stage of the high stakes 100K account that we've been doing since the start of the streams that we've had. So I actually was looking at pound dollar like Yiannis today. I actually jumped into his stream for a little bit, getting the signals. Nah, I'm only joking, but I definitely jumped in today. I always like listening to your streams. Where's Ragnar though, bro? Where is Ragnar?
I know. I need to bring him back. I was very close to bringing him on here today.
Oh, that would have been the best. Honestly, this is we haven't got anybody like Ragnar, but we've got some other people we can bring on. Like, we've got DJ Khaled and stuff like that we bring on when people make money. So we got another one. So we got little things like that, but definitely Ragnar was good. That's good fun. So I was looking at pound today. Noticed that it was breaking down early in the morning. We actually saw it breaking up. I think it was just before the London the market open. We really did see that big push up on the pound, and I was in a trade with gold at the time, and then I saw pound actually breaking down, and that was for a moment I was looking at just to take it actually short. I was looking at all of this for the past couple of months. All of this kind of round price action just looks like a lot of weakness. We had this massive push down, retracement back to that looks like the 50 EMA, the 50 fib, which is basically where I normally tend to trade from, is a 50 fib and then continuations. So notice that it's hit this 50 fib with the EMAs. And this is an area that I would like to be taking trades from. Normally, most on the price action short. So I went onto the lower time frames, seeing all of this price action here, push up, then break back down underneath the 200 EMA. And for me, that was a sign just to get short and take it to the prior day's low, which I think it just didn't hit just quite, because I think the prior day low is around about this area. Yeah, it is this area. But I did take some profits here instead. And that was the trade that I've gone to. That's the trade that I've gone today. So we've got another R2R to go until we actually pass and get the funded account. And then I can be trading the funded account in the live trading rooms. And that is it. So what about you guys? What you guys been looking at?
Yeah, I'm
sorry, go on, John.
No, please go ahead.
So I pretty much traded.
You want to pull up your chart?
Yeah.
You were in short, no? This morning you were in short.
I was,
high, actually.
I had been in since NFP. I was in a big drawdown. Not big drawdown, but I don't know if you know how I trade, but I generally go into drawdown quite often. So what I would normally do is a pound average approach, very similar to Scruffy, but he has a Scruffy madness way of dealing with things. I call something like repositioning, where I sometimes close my worst entry and use my best entry, pay out profits from the worst entry as a risk management. But very similar to this, to you, I was looking at, if we put it on the 1 hour, I recognize this area here of a sell side liquidity here, buy side liquidity above here. We came up, tapped into that. It was above the Asian high. Soon as it started breaking lower, in ICT terms, we had like a Judas move where you take in the ICT sort of the Asian high, you have a slow push towards the Asian high after taking the low, and then a delivery of price. It literally, that was, sometimes people
that was a
hate
real
ICT,
bad push down.
That was an execution to perfection there, up to fail into the 15 fair value gap there. And what that looks like is this bad boy here. So that was really nice. I only took $50 out of this, just 10 pips on a half 5 lot. But I was just literally a couple of hours before I just closed that big trade there for about $400 in profit after being 2,500 down on that move there. So so the biggest thing for me on the pound dollar has been we have been consolidating for a long period of time. And I like putting the big numbers in there because you can see it. That's what institutional traders sort of look at. Yeah. You'll see that we've only had one attempt to the 128, which happened here. And that was in 27th of December. We have never been there before until the previous times we've been there is back in August in 2023. So the biggest questions around pound dollar is the number that people are willing to trade at this moment of time is the 127. And you can see that that's where all the price has been ranging. Now, this is the first time that we're breaking below the 126. And the biggest question now is this going to hold to go back into a range to 127? Or are we getting into the lower ranges of 125? Because if you think if you're an institutional trader and you're hedging your positions and you want to sell at 128, you're not going to be very confident that that's going to get there. So you'll start closing partials of your positions going downwards towards discount or like they're going to be kind of discounted prices because you don't think we're going to be getting up to here. So the closer we get to these levels, I think we're going to be looking for a little bit of a retracement. The other question then is how low can the pound dollar go at this situation? We had the story of the strong dollar. Now we're having the story of the impact of the interest rates that's coming on the dollar. So I am in between here in terms of where we're going to be heading. Are we heading to 128 second attempt, or are we heading back to 125 area? But as you said, and this is very interesting when you see how different concepts come together. So that's a really nice 4-hour fair value gap that's been traded below the 50 of that fair value gap. Now, if you take another concept of a Fibonacci retracement and you throw that on there, you'll find that that is in the golden zone. Yeah. So it's just different language doing the same thing. So don't get too bogged down with the Fibonacci people are right, the ICT people are right, the Scruffys are right. It's all the same price action. People have just said it in different ways. So I do like this. The only thing that we've been looking on is the dollar index as well, because I kind of look at these together. We have broken below the 23. So strongly indicating that we're potential price action to the 50% move. So that's going against the push down to the pound dollar. We're also coming back up into 23 now. So before taking any trades, I would either want to see a strong push to the upside to take out the Fibonacci retracement, which if it takes the highs, then we're talking about a different setup. But if it doesn't and it consolidates here, the higher chances are that we're going to 103.8. So if that happens, that means that we've got a bullish setup for the pound dollar. A bullish setup to the pound dollar will be into the 61.8 and 76.4, or in ICT sort of language, the OTE areas for that. So that's my overview on the pound dollar. For me, I don't like trading. Like this was a clean setup. Like the thing that you saw there with the pound dollar, that was a clean setup for me. I only take maybe 1/3 of the move. So what is it done? 30, 40 pips now. I only take like 10, 15 pips out of these moves. And I let the account build up the lot size as it's getting bigger. But when you get things wrong, so let's say I got in half a lot here, but I want to risk up to 2 lots, let's say. If I'm getting in here with 1/4 of my lot, then I start thinking, where would I be able to deal with this trade if I get it wrong? Like what will be the worst case scenarios? And I think the realistic worst case scenario, if you're shorting this, is that we get a retest to the 128. Because for me, it's highly unlikely if we get to the 128 that they're not going to be willing sellers. So obviously that's not going to happen any moment now, but that is the worst case scenario that I can put into place to start putting an idea around my trade. So what does that look like in terms of pips? So if I'm less short in this, I'm talking about 150 pips on the pound dollar. You can do that in 2-3 days. So it's feasible that this can happen in a week, especially if there's news, if there's NFP, then that can become a lot quicker. Do I have other areas in the way that I can stop this? This is where I bring in my scruffy levels. And you had an example of scruffy levels that he puts in. So we can see the weekly levels, the monthly levels, how are they lining up to sort of resist the price from getting there. And as you can see, we don't have a lot of monthly levels up there. The monthly up level is above the 128. So that's giving me an indication that if there was willingness to go higher, the only thing that's holding in between is the 127 and the weekly. So then I can start planning my idea around those two levels. How much do I want to risk in this? Do I want to risk, if I'm one lot here, that's $1,500. Is that possible? No, because I want to put more trades in. I want to be able to deal with this trade. So what if I put half? That will be $750. What if I put a quarter? That'll be 300 and so on. So how can I manage my risk with spreading out my positions with a pound average approach with different ideas as a concept to go short? So then the second idea might be the 61.8, but maybe I think that's too much exposure going up to the 150. So maybe I can skip this and I can go to the 127. So now I've spread my lot into two places where I think they're logical places. They're based on Fibonacci, they're based on levels, they're based on historical data on the pound dollar, which I can manage this because my second position is going to be 100 pips, so 50 pips difference. So what do I need to put in? Do I need to go 0.25 of a lot to be able to afford this trade? If I can't afford this trade, then I need to bring my stop closer if I want to trade it higher with a bigger position. I've just explained the whole process there. I don't know if this is...
No, definitely. This is a lot of value. And I think, again, there's no right or wrong way to trade, and I think people it's good to understand.
Something that I haven't seen before, which I'm surprised that I haven't, is adding the big numbers. It makes so much sense. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that before.
I don't know
It
why.
makes a lot of sense. And you said that's the numbers the institutional traders look at. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So numbers is basically, I've started creating my own sort of dashboard on Tableau. I don't know if you use Tableau or Tableau. It's like a data analytics from my previous job.
Yeah.
Where you can basically put in Excel sheets and you can make visualizations out of these Excel sheets and you can derive some meaning out of data. And one of this is basically I can now look at any month and it will give me month-on-month closures of what is looking like. For instance, if we look now at February, we can see that the pound dollar in the last 20 years, it has been quite red in February. So you can use that as more of a seasonality. How does that look like in terms of the euro? Euro is kind of giving similar positions, but not hugely different because we're talking about minus 0.6% in 20 years. Yes, you have some outliers in there in 2010 and 2013. And how does that relate to DXY? So that is sort of more my sort of bigger picture around big numbers, like you said, is like what are the big numbers and what are how is the seasonality coming into this? Like what sort of percentage can we expect in February?
So you obviously take that data and you manually enter that in. Is that from a specific place that you look for that, or is that just?
So I download the data from historical data. So like
and then just put it in, and you can just import
monthly data. You can download it from any date, historical data. Download that on a monthly, and then when you go onto like a data analytics software, let me see if I can show you.
I think that's super. That's really cool, and it's super important. People watching this, like, to collect data and to look at historic price data and look at try to find patterns in everything. It's super important to find to find that edge.
Goes on the question actually. Do you trade off fundamental analysis as well? Then obviously, if you're taking into account all that data, data that's coming out in the future. Is there any kind of fundamental bias that you put onto your trading?
I joined onto Jordan's channel this morning, was it? Traderlicious.
Nice.
And they were talking about, as he always does, about fundamentals. And I literally, as it literally just today, I was like, okay, I'm just going to throw on the yield on there to see how the 10-year yield looks, to start looking at correlations and that. Now, for me, I would like probably, I don't have the knowledge yet to understand the yield, the bond yields, and how it affects as a leading indicator to the pound dollar. So if I saw, let's say I saw that in February 2024, we had a drop in 2%, I don't understand how that correlates for predicting, let's say, March. But what I do understand around this fundamentals is that there's always a correlation between the dollar and the pound, the two sort of the most traded Forex nations in terms of per capita in these two categories, especially when you're trading the two economies, especially in the euro dollar. You can see there's correlations with these things. So when the euro is doing something, the pound dollar will be doing something. And you can see this very clearly from month to month. We're looking at similar months. So when something is off, let's say we look at June, that's off. Like what happened there? Like that's something that I want to go in and delve more into what happened in 2016, which were probably the elections that with Brexit that came in. So it's almost like the picture is there. You just need to go and start digging in and understanding what is actually happening. And you'll see that in the last 20 years, you can start building some profiles. Whereas August, like there's a lot of redness on the pound dollar, but if you go to like December's and how it behaves around December, you can see that the euro is more and more green. So what does that mean? How can I use that in my trade if I'm trading scalping on a daily, right? So I know that overall, if we exclude, let's say, the outlier here, I know that in general, the euro dollar is looking to provide gains from November to December. And on average, we're looking about 1% gain. So what I can then do, go into my trading, I'll put it onto my monthly. Where are we currently trading? And in February, for instance, we saw that it was 0.29. So at -0, if you look up here, it will tell you the month. So if you hover onto your candle, so you can see that we're -6.2 at the moment of that closing. So it's highly likely that we're on the average at this moment of time of the 20 years that we've been trading on the pound dollar on each candle close. So if we go into the 15-minute, what that means is that we're on now 12th of February. That means that we've got roughly 20 days for it to come back to a -0.6. So the price can do whatever it wants. It can go up to the 128, can go up to down to, let's say, the 125. But if we say within the last 10 days of February, we're 6% up, it's likely that it will want to return back to the average. Now, it might be an outlier, so then you can bring in more fundamental analysis. Does it make sense that it's 6% up? Is there news out there? Is there wars that's happening? Is UK getting more involved in the wars that are happening? Then you start building a picture. You can be a little bit more risk on, a little bit risk off by knowing this. It's not that it's going to give you, right, I saw this information now. I've seen that February is red, so I'm going to be selling the pound dollar all month. It doesn't work like that. It's almost like, all right, so overall in the last 20 years, we have more red Februaries than green. And when they are red, they're bigger than the greens. Simple. We can see that the max is 2.4 gains. On average, I would say we're around 3 to 2.9 here. So if we're going short, it means that it's not going to be 0.4. That's the average. But on average, if you take all these, if it does go heavily short, we're looking at 2% max. And then you can start analyzing and say, if this drops another 2%, where is it going? So you can drag your little measure let's say we have the worst case scenario and we're dropping, we need to put it on like a 4 hour or something. And the current price. So we would be going below the 125. Is that realistic without an outlier? Probably not. So how can I manage my trade knowing that information and the plan that I talked to you about, worst case scenario going to 128, because the 128 from the price now, from my entry, my official entry, is 1%. So way within the realm of pound dollar going higher. It's possible. It's very possible. It's done it before. It's done 2.4s. It's done it multiple times in February. So I can risk manage this trade with the expectation of this happening. It's not unrealistic. And that's how I sort of go down the line of, does it make sense where I've positioned my trades? A lot of people were freaking out when they were seeing me trade, and I had about 2 positions here. They were freaking out that they thought that the price is going to continue crashing to after this drop on the NFP. Mm-hmm. But it did a 2% drop.
Needs a bit of a breather.
People
are taking profits. People are closing positions.
Absolutely. It might continue down. It's done it. It's done 4% drop. But the reality is, if that happens, it's an outlier. And in outliers, you're going to be getting hit. You're going to be needing to close trades. If it's not an outlier, it's highly likely that there's going to be a retracement. And normally when it retraces and it breaks above 23, it retraces to the 50%. And that's where we are now. So that is sort of taking a picture from institutional trading. What do they trade? Where is the interest? Into an idea, and being able to manage idea with a logical parameter of what can go wrong and how much it can go wrong. And if it does go wrong, I know that I need to deal with a max drop of 2 to 5%.
Yeah. There you go. There's your answer, guys.
Yeah, that's a very interesting concept. Something that I haven't seen before, honestly. I think to me this is new. It's very interesting.
One thing I want to go through, just to everybody spamming the chat. Like, none of us have given the magic word. The magic word hasn't been released. So, guys,
I just opened the stream. I can see the rain.
Guys, you have to wait until the magic word is released before you get entered into the giveaway. So, the 100K is definitely not the magic word. But no, I know Ralph told everybody, but guys, you're not listening to Ralph. You've got to listen.
Ralph.
But
listen.
I love the way that you wrote that down, and it's quite a refreshing way actually, because it's coming from a specific. It's not just looking at trading lines and just saying, okay, price is going to go here, go there. You're actually taking data and you're using the probabilities of what is realistic. And you saying obviously the outliers, and something could happen like the Swissy did in 2015. Nobody knows. Something like can happen with that massive virus that happened a couple of years ago that I'm not going to say. You never know. Things like that can happen, but especially in the forex and the currency markets, it tends to go back to the mean, and it tends to range, and it tends to do things in certain patterns. And I like the way that you look at patterns and you take that data and you're putting it in a way that you can actually do something with, because I think everybody has data with their trading, or everybody has data available to them, but it's very difficult to visualize that data and actually do something actionable with it. And you've kind of like bridge that into something that is quite actionable, which I think is a lot of value for this community. So thank you.
We have a couple of outliers in the chat. We have a couple of people saying 350K. That's a new one. But yeah, it's not. Guys, I wanted to cover something here today, because is it okay? I'm not sure if you're done with your analysis though.
Yeah. I'm just looking. I'm just looking at the pound dollar. I'm probably going to be interested only in short opportunities, as I expressed. But We are seeing like a break here now, which is quite interesting. Like in terms of the ICT fans there, we've hit that 15-minute fair value gap. We're breaking structure, getting into fair value gaps here. This could be a potential, like obviously this is not financial advice, but
we'll whack the disclaimer on there.
Yeah, so you know, we're looking about 15 pips on these kind of sort of moves. If this retraces above the break, then you can scalp these moves if you want. But as an overall, I normally don't get involved unless it is a clean cut trade, like it was this morning, taking Asian highs. I do like these indicators a little. I give you 2 tips for your crowd. I found out recently. I absolutely love this. One is for the news. You can have your news on the chart from the Forex factory, similar to the Forex factory, and you can literally, it's an absolutely amazing indicator. You can put all your medium, gold, or whatever if you're only interested in pounds.
Dude, I thought about that this morning. I was on my walk and I'm like, I wonder if there's an indicator that shows the news, and here we are.
It's absolutely amazing. And
do you know how hard that is to code? Because I've been talking with coders that wanted to, code this for me, and apparently it's super hard to do so. So that's amazing.
We have to thank this guy, 2 degrees with double O's.
So everybody that thanked 2 degrees, make sure you like the video just to say thank you for that fantastic indicator that he has made. So like it up.
So yeah, and it's actually amazing because it gives you these lines of the events as well. So we know that is coming up, so you can see what is coming up in case you are, in your clouds. You can actually have it there in alerts, and you can have historical data, and it will show you where it happened. You have to go on the settings, and if you put chat history this week, you can put the last 30 events. Press OK, then it will give you, let's go on to the 4 hour, for instance. It gives you a little dot above it. And you can see the outcome of what happened with that date. The other one is, I always put the previous daily high and previous daily low from the ICT concepts. So all in one sessions that you can manipulate. I'll just close it for now, just so it can be clean. And I'll take the news off, but you can manipulate that to always, whatever you're trading, to put the previous daily high, previous daily equilibrium and low, and also whatever session you want on there. So I always have my Asian session, just with one click, it will always have it in there. So those are the little
all sessions.
That is called All-in-One Sessions by Tex Moonbeam.
Very nice.
What would you do without TradingView?
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's brilliant.
I've got a question for you, Yiannis. I don't understand too much of what it's asking. Could cable be setting a low between Tuesday London and Wednesday New York to form an OTE or turtle soup to go long until the Thursday London? I've not got a clue what turtle soup is, and I do not know what an OTE is. Well,
I know it's ICT, and it's
optimal trade entry is OTE. So what we're referring to there is basically an OTE in Scruffy World and 50% and Fibonacci retracements, and OTs with between like pretty much the 76.4. If you change the setups, I've changed them now to have them on the OT. You'll see it will be slightly different, but 79%. So 79%, 50%, 70.5%, which is the 50 mark of the 79 and the 61.8. So that area is called an optimal trade entry, where if price goes in there, it's highly likely it's going to be reversing to continue lower. Very similar to the 76.4. I know Russell, he's from the live. So Russell, I'll answer that another time. It's gonna, you know the answer. You've been watching me enough now.
Good stuff.
All right.
What about you, Jonathan? You've been looking at anything?
Yeah. So I have my swing system, and I don't trade that on Monday. So okay. So I'm using a new browser here.
Oh,
So let's see if I don't know how.
Careful what you're whacking on the screen.
Yeah, I gotta look. Like, do you have anything weird up here? No. Okay.
Double check.
Yeah, double checking. Let's see. Got TradingView. That's all I need. Let's see, am I sharing?
Not yet.
All right, is this the right one? Look at that beautiful indicator as well. Anyway, so it's Monday, right? So it's Monday, and my swing. Usually, I don't trade on Mondays. My swing trading system has a very low win rate on Mondays. Most of the signals are fake on Monday. So I'm thinking, and it's super boring to host these live streams and not have everything and anything to trade. Okay, so. Excuse me. So I'm gonna try something new here. Okay. So what we're gonna do is I'm developing a backtesting template. This is gonna be like a really cool tool to gather data. And you're all watching this when it's done in hopefully a couple of days. You're gonna get it for free. We're gonna make sure that you're able to just access this, and it looks really cool. So here. Just a sneak peek, right? I'll be able to put in check marks for. I have 10 different confluence trackers here, so I can put in check mark on like each of these. So let's say, for example, you have one specific like indicator on each of these. You can check which one is confluent with the entry or whatever, and then it will calculate which combination of these are the best. Basically, what you're doing is you're creating a trading system, right? So, and this is how I created my system, but this is a more advanced version of that backtesting template. So I'm going to be using this one with you guys live. So I'm going to develop a system where I'm only going to test the trades during the time that we have the live trading sessions. Okay. So this system, I'm only going to be trading for the 2 hours that we are live. So it makes no sense for me to backtest this other than those times. And I'm going to be doing this on the four majors: the Euro USD, USD JPY, GBP USD, and USD CHF, to have like a small portion of pairs we can go through here. And I'm going to start with like the very, very basics here. I'm only going to be trading price action and horizontal levels, and then with time, we're going to see how profitable that is, how well that works, and then we're going to start adding on indicators. And I want you guys in the comments to help me develop this system. We're going to develop it together, right? So you might have an idea of like, add the MACD and only buy when the MACD does this or whatever. I'm going to add that to the template. We're going to be testing all trades if the win rate has been better or not with that added. So together, over the course of perhaps a couple of weeks here, we can see the system becoming better and better and better. And I have an idea. So the live stream that we had with Scruffy was one of our most popular live stream for good reasons. He explained some very good way of adding horizontal levels using the line chart. And that's the first thing. So I'm going to be trading this live, and that's the first thing I'm going to be adding, I believe. So I don't know if it's the right layout here, but I should have. I think there's because I was on my laptop earlier and it seems like it didn't sync. But what I did do was I added daily 4 hour and 1 hour levels. So we just had a bunch of levels on the chart. But then when I went into the 5 minute, it made very good sense to have those on, because you could see that like there was a daily level going straight through here, maybe a 4 hour level here. So those high time frame levels made a lot of sense on the lower time frames. But I'm going to begin with just pure price action, and we're going to be focusing on these four right here. So what I mean by pure price action would be this, for example. So up here, we have an untested level on the 5 minute, okay? So somewhere around this area, we have an untested level. We have, this structure here with, I would say, bearish characteristics right here, but maybe we'll get something like this. Perhaps like a break of structure here, maybe, a level here, break above that one, bounce here. Kind of starts forming a double bottom, got that resistance, and now we could trade, your USD from this level up to that level. So just using pure price action, market structure analysis, and horizontal level, and we'll see, is this profitable? Can we be profitable using the very bare minimum with technical analysis? I think this is going to be a good practice to see how well this does, and also something cool we can do here. We can develop a system live. I think that's going to be very, very interesting, and I will.
Cool idea.
Yeah, and I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to be doing this on a 5K evaluation account that is currently, I believe it's down. I mean, drawdown on that one, I believe it's down 1%, and we'll see how well it does on that account. And I think, I'm going to be risking probably like 0.25% on each trade to make sure that we can survive. We can survive like 10 losses in a row, because that will probably happen when we're developing this. We want to make sure that we, even after like 15 losses in a row, we don't lose the account.
Good stuff.
So that's what a trade I'm looking at. Yeah, that's the plan. But a trade I'm looking at right now is Bitcoin. So usually,
yeah, baby, to the moon.
So we got let's.
Do you say Dogecoin?
Everybody push up Bitcoin. That's what we want. We want the bulls.
Someone's interested in this.
Yeah, man. Listen, you got to pump my bags, man.
All right, let's see. We usually I'm usually a trend following trader. I used to break and retest trader in an uptrend, but that doesn't work very well on Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a very good asset to trade. I would say this: when Bitcoin is ranging, all coins are out. I mean, when Bitcoin is in a good trend, all coins are fantastic to trade using that method. But Bitcoin doesn't really respect the break and retest in the same way. And so I'm looking at Bitcoin and I'm thinking, here I'm actually thinking about a potential reversal trade, because we have this level below. Now, I'm not expecting this level to get hit, because Bitcoin always never hits the perfect levels. If Bitcoin is bullish, it's basically just going to break out, it's going to retrace a little bit, and then it's going to break out again, and it's just going to repeat that. Like, it's just going to go straight up almost. Like, it's just such a crazy thing to see. But if you look at the daily, like every major breakout, you almost never get a retest. That's been true in all bull markets. So I'm looking like I have a very clear structure here on the 4 hour. We could say that to me, it kind of looks like we're in the range. Not sure exactly where to kind of put the lows, but I would say I want to put the lows somewhere here and look at that as a deviation or a fake out. And I want to put the highs up in this region so that the range EQ comes in at this structure right here. And if this is a range, we could expect at least, we could expect a rejection up in this area. Looking at the 4 hour, we do have this low right here. And if we can, and that's also the support area here in the 4 hour. So we can expect this area to act as good support. It also means if we break it to the downside, we could expect it to act as good resistance. So what I'm looking for is some type of clue that we're going to move lower. So we're going to break this structure. So I'm thinking on Bitcoin, something like this is what I'm looking at. And tomorrow, I believe it's tomorrow, we have the US CPI. And the best case scenario is we get an entry prior to that, because if it's going to break out or break lower on the CPI news, we're not going to get the retest. And it's probably just going to look like one big candle straight down here. If we can get an entry, and we're going to be doing the live stream tomorrow, CPI news is going to come out during the live stream. My hopes are that we're going to get this break and get an entry, prior to the CPI news release. And I'm thinking, it kind of makes sense to see something like this, right? As a rejection up at the range highs. So this will actually be one of the few times when I do trade Bitcoin as a kind of like reversal trade, if you will, because most of the time I look for Bitcoin to come down here, and that's where I want to enter. But now we are actually in a range, and we are testing high time frame resistance. So I would say, well, actually, on the weekly, kind of looks like we broke above that.
Just the weekly time frame of Bitcoin. Just look, I've never seen something so beautiful in my life. Just look how amazingly structured it is. Like,
currently the price is sitting exactly on the 76.4.
Oof. Not a place that I like to. I don't like knowing that.
Sorry, 61.8. 61.8.
Is it from the high to the low?
Yeah. If you put the monthly on and you take the high and the low, that retracement there is exactly on the 61.8, and it's sitting on the,
likes that area as well.
Beautiful.
66. There was a guy, Chart Champions. If everybody ever knows of Chart Champions, his name is Daniel. He kind of coined the 66 fib, and if you use a 66 fib on Bitcoin, you do notice that price tends to just push that little extra bit towards that 66. He calls it the golden pocket or something like that. I don't know what he's coined it, but it really does like that number. So it is reaching that area, and it's quite a worrisome area if you're looking to long this, to the moon. But if you're sat in positions from the bottom, and you're in positions from a spot point of view, sit and don't do anything.
Definitely. I mean, this if you're long Bitcoin, you stay long. Like you're out of we're way above the accumulation phase for Bitcoin. So with the accumulation phase, like this is the accumulation phase. So we are well above that one. Like this is not when you might want to take some profits, right? But there's no signs of this trend ending. What I do think, like, we'll look at the weekly here, and if you add a level here, that's a weekly breakout. But then if you add a more of a zone here, you'll see that you're at that high time frame resistance, and just like Janis mentioned here, that resistance area is in perfect confluence with the 618. So and that's actually one this is my take profit target for Bitcoin, because I'm not going to exit fully, but I remember, like, we talked about, I was not here, but December end of 2022, beginning of last year, when we did enter the long reload zone here. I remember, like, that's when I started accumulating Bitcoin. Like, as soon as it broke below 20K after the whole FTX situation, I started accumulating Bitcoin for two reasons, right? It's inside the long reload zone of the it's in the right area of the fibs. We hit the 2017 highs, and I'm gonna see if I can find the tool. I want to show you something here. The MVRV Z-Score. If you go to Google and just type in MVRV Z-Score Bitcoin, you're going to get a site called Look Into Bitcoin, and this is the Bitcoin MVRV Z-Score. Now, very simple here. Bull markets for Bitcoin happen. They start in the green zone and they end in the red zone. Now, of course, there's some alpha decay here. You'll see that it's like you can put a trend line on here, so the highs are lower and lower and lower. So perhaps this bull market might end, around the 6, so right before it enters the red zone. But this works 100% of the time. It have never failed, right? It might fail, but so far it has never failed, and you don't really bet against a 100% win rate, right? So this is when Bitcoin entered the MVRV Z-Score and the long reload zone. So we entered Bitcoin here, right? And now that it's out of the accumulation phase, This is almost like, you could almost look at this like, you have the Dow theory with accumulation, public participation, phase distribution. And the same thing is happening here. Where do you think the smart money entered? Well, obviously, after FTX, when there's so much fear in the market, like everybody hated crypto, me included. Everybody just wanted to get out of crypto. And this is where obviously we had that accumulation and started to move to the upside. Now, if you look at in just the same way as I had, the fib from that low to the very high to the very extreme, got the reload zone here. If you're adding that bearish fib from the high to the low, you'll see that you're about to enter what I call the short RLZ, or the reload zone, where basically, let's see if I can, it's gonna be that one, where most of the time, doesn't matter what market you're looking at, most of the time you're going to get the distribution phases and accumulation phases within the reload zone. Now, it's just a name for fib levels, and we all know the importance of the number 0.618. But this is highly likely that Bitcoin is going to get rejected up here. In my opinion, highly likely. Now, long term, we're talking about 5 years in the future, for sure. Not out of the question to see that move up to 100K. And I believe in about 2 months, we have the halving. It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, probably about 60 days.
Yeah, something like that. We're going to be talking more about Bitcoin, though, tomorrow when we have Dirk on, and he's going to be talking about his long-term views on Bitcoin. But that's
interesting. It's interesting on the same Fibonacci retracement on the 61.8. The previous month, that's exactly where it retraced.
I'm going to put your chart on quickly, Yiannis.
Literally, touched the 61.8 and then threw back down and closed exactly on the 50. But what's interesting about this is now back at that level, and above it, you've got a really nice fair value gap on top of that. This gap here, which is inefficiency in price, if you want, because the sellers haven't been able to take part in this trade without being retested. And soon as it retested there, everyone got involved in shorting it. So there was interest in shorts. But what is interesting here on this build up, these levels didn't hold it at all. So it's almost like
through everything. It's like
and even if you put it on weeks, I was thinking maybe it's a weekly thing. Very small, short periods. Like every week it was pushing higher. When it started consolidating, then it started behaving a little bit better to levels. But when it's pumping, it's almost like nothing's in the way. It's just like full news driven like asset. So I don't know a lot about Bitcoin, but the trends that I'm seeing is when you find these consolidation, you can start seeing how it behaves on monthly levels. It's behaving a little bit better. But when you have breakouts, it's like, don't short a monthly level on that.
Yeah. I think Bitcoin really likes to test people in a way that it gives. It's like a really painful asset, because the way that it moves, let's say if it's breaking up the top of a range and you are certain right now it's breaking this range and it's going to continue on, that is exactly the time where it's going to break. It's going to come under the range and then go at the other side of the range. And it's one of those assets that really tests your patience. And when you are sidelined, it is the time where it actually just pumps up and just leaves everybody behind. And I feel like when a lot of people are thinking that this is the time to short Bitcoin, is exactly the time where it really puts those people to test. And when everybody's underwater, they're basically pushing the price up further because they're closing all of their positions. And a lot of people with a lot of money on their futures accounts, they are just adding to the fuel to either side when they're just over leveraged. And with 100x leverage on crypto, and people use it a lot, it's just it's some of these areas are just thin air. That's why price is just pushing straight through. There's literally no liquidity in between these areas.
Also, the behavior of it when it's pushing, it's not responding to normal Fibonacci retracements. So like we've had a push here, strong rejection below the 23, doesn't get into the 50s, then it's very close to breaking the highs now. So it's almost like when it's pumping, it's that character changes and it's like, who's on board when you run out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Choo-choo.
Now, when we're not on board, let's consolidate and behave like a normal asset.
yeah. Guys, you gotta love that thing, man. God.
Isn't it funny that usually when you got news coming out, a lot of most of the assets that are you like, at least for Bitcoin, we got CPI and FOMC stuff like that. You usually see Bitcoin at resistance or support. And I find that interesting, and it's it's the same for a lot of, like, for example, on Euro USD, and I don't know. It's like you got the news coming up, and everyone's like waiting for the news, and the news is like make it or break it. Either you're going to break out or you're going to get rejected. So now, looking at Bitcoin, it's at resistance right here. So I do think it's what it comes down to here is tomorrow's numbers. We might actually break, and I think this is the level that we need to break. Like this, like these two structures here. I don't know. I think this is the level that we need to break, that we're currently testing right now. Once we're above 50, it's like we have so much support. We have so many support level below, and all the strongest resistance has been broken. It's just amazing to see, because honestly, like, I had the same feeling, in 2018 when we had. Remember 2018 when we had this move. That was like, this was the end of Bitcoin, right? That month right there in November 2018. I know a lot of people thought like, yeah, this is it. This is the end. And that's the bottom. Same thing here with FTX. When we had that massive, massive dump after the FTX right here, I thought, yeah, this is
FTX,
the end.
all of that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the end. And all of a sudden it's like, yeah, okay. It's just insane. And now we are at that level where I remember talking about this very long time ago. Like, yeah, we're going to, probably, like, it makes sense for us to accumulate here and then move up to hit that 0.618. And it happens so much quicker than I thought. So much quicker than I thought. And now it looks like we're just going to break through. It's amazing to see Bitcoin when it starts moving. It's just a train.
Do you know one thing that I'm looking at now that just, baffles me? Just gold. The way gold can start to see that it's getting momentum, push, like take everybody out and just continue. It's just so volatile, and I like it. But if you're trailing your stops, which a lot of people, it just take out so fast and then just continue on. It's absolutely incredible. Like, this is what and the 200 EMA as well is absolutely incredible how it actually holds on these levels. It's nuts. I'm gonna have to keep trying with gold. I was trying with gold all last week, and I kept on getting stopped out, and eventually I got the trade that went in my way. But by the time I got stopped out twice, by the time it went my way, I saw the profits and I took them too early. It's like,
yeah,
gosh, you gotta give it to some of these assets, man. They're
I think we have
really done them.
But I try to trade gold. I honestly don't get it. I think it's, to me, I can't get a good view of gold. Honestly, I think it's super hard to get a good read on it. It's just all over the place for me. Wicks all over the place. I was watching USD CHF while and we had a nice breakout here. Feel like I did miss the entry on this one. I would have wanted to enter here. Now I feel like that entry's gone. But I do these are the trades I'm looking to take on, at least to begin taking on this account, where I'm first looking at like levels, major levels on the higher time frames. Here I have, we have a beautiful level on the 4 hour, to kind of align with historic price action as well. So this would be, we get that breakout on the 4 hour. We have the 4 hour candle closing above, and we then try to get in on a retrace. Now, preferably, it would be like a break and retest down here. So somewhere, I think the best entries here would be somewhere between like the 50% and a 618. So if you add the fib here, I would be looking at something like this. So here you see that, I don't know if you could call that a pin bar, but pin bar-ish candle, indecisive candle at least, and then that one would be more of a pin bar candle. But I think these are the type of trades I'm looking to take on this account, and then try to see if I can get a move like this up to the next major level. So if this is a major level on the 4 hour, where's the level above? And to me, I have to look at this level. So where's the next level above? I would say it's going to be probably, the closest one has to be that one. And then we have an area, I'd say up here. So back to the 5 minute, back to the entry time frame. Actually, TP1 would probably be at the highs, but look at that. This level up here aligns with the minus 618 perfectly. And this is the type of stuff I want to see. I want to be able to enter around the 0.618 here and sell at the 0.618 up here. Now, there's a couple of things we can add here to try out and test. We can add the stochastics RSI. So let's move that. Where do we have that one here? And this is obviously something that we will have to test. But we want to see if, so here at the time of entry, we preferably want to have this structure. We want to have that, rounded, like the bottom formation on the stochastics RSI below 30 with a bull cross. So this structure plus this structure, I think would increase the win rate. But we have to get like, I don't know, maybe 10 or 20 trades, and then we can go through that and we can see how many of the trades we're confident with the stochastics or not, and then we can see if we have a pattern right there. So yeah, that's no trade, no entry today.
I'm getting the
oh, sorry.
Before I pass it over to Yiannis, I'll be getting the giveaway ready soon, guys, because obviously we're gonna dip off in about 20 minutes. So while Yiannis goes through all of this, make sure you're staying attentive because we're getting everything ready to rumble with this giveaway. Anyway, Janis, to you.
Do I need to share? I've got my MT5 up. I just need to share a different screen.
Let me up. Go for
it. We got GBP USD breaking out here, right? I'm looking at an entry here as well. It looks quite nice.
Maybe I need to share a different screen, right?
Oh, you got it. I think.
It's at the moment that's mine. So Yiannis, you need to turn it off and then put it back on, and then it should come up with MT5. Just gold, man. That is just insane.
Well, I'm very interested to hear your views on GBP USD or Janis, because I do see that break of structure that you talked about.
Yeah, so I just took a little. I've just put that on break even because it's going against my fundamental like short.
I'll be back in 2 seconds.
So this is a risk-free trade now. So I just put it in for $3. So if it comes back down, we'll at least get pay the commission for $2 for this one. But what we saw here is basically the break of structure here, back into that fair value gap there. This is on a 15-minute. Actually, it's on the 5-minute. It came in once, came in twice, held it pretty much to the pip, and now it's kind of breaking above. What I saw to get into this is this hold above the 23 here. So that was my trigger. I had to wait for a better price. And for the people that do tight stops. Oh, sorry, you can't see my TradingView. But
no.
Sorry, I was doing a full analysis on MT5. Let me do it on MT5 again. Give me a sec. There we go. So yeah, basically what I saw is we had on a bigger retracement. Let me find the retracement first. So we had this retracement here, and it broke above the 23.6. So if I throw on a Fibonacci on that, just closed above. And then we waited for a retracement back into the 15. On the 5 there, we got an entry into that fair value gap. right
That's
there.
a very good entry. That's a really nice entry.
And it clocked it to the pip. I was listening to your voice then. I didn't get the best price, but I got a good price. So I'm just probably going to get about 10 pips for this. I'm not going to trade it all the way up to the 50. This can very easily push up, but it is against what I'm trying to do on the pound dollar. So we'll see if that comes back down or it breaks it. So I'm going to bring the TP probably around 53 there, just to pay the cost as well. A lot of people forget about the cost. Always remember the cost of the trade.
When trading low time frames, you get a lot of trades per day. It's just you gotta check that. Go into MetaTrader,
especially if you've got swaps as well, like you're holding it over the weekend or something. But I've just put the TP just below the 38. It should be an achievable ask. A more risk on would be to put it onto the 50 here on this trade.
Ooh, we in some trades.
I think this is a really good example of, if you don't mind, can I switch over to my chart and show you the difference here between, so you entered, like you had this level where you wanted to enter, and I'm looking at this blue box. So I think, because I see people get in here, and I'm thinking like, how I want to get that entry as well, but it's just, I feel like I need to wait for that obvious resistance area to break. And obviously, as you can see here now, your TP is about to get hit here. Yeah. And that now I'm feeling like, we already hit this level above. So we hit that resistance here. Now, if price comes down here, now all of a sudden I feel like maybe I'm too late. Maybe I'm too late for that move to the upside. So
I guess the biggest question, sorry, Jonathan, is like, if you're scalping this, like this is only 10 pips that I got here. If you're scalping this, you're only looking at the structure, and you have to remember, I can't show you the TradingView. We've been selling all morning.
It's like a blinking Christmas tree, Yanis. Look how many trades are in now. Been trading that account for a while.
Yeah. This is since 2022? Or no, August. 1 year and 3-4 months now. Nice. But I'm more looking at this in terms of a scalp. You're just reading price action on like the lowers here. But I think when you're using the resistance, it's almost like you're going that extra 1 hour, 4 hour frame. I don't know if that's correct for you, Jonathan, or if you trade that, but it's almost, if you switch that on there, what you're seeing, you're like, this looks good, but it's not quite ready. So I need to see a retest and then to push higher. But when you drop it onto like 5 minutes, everything looks ready. Especially on the 1 minutes, then you're like, so it's just like deciding, for me personally, is like, I don't like this setup, longing the pound in this situation, but I'm willing to test the market for just a few pips, break even. And then sometimes you get these, sometimes you're going to break even and look for the other idea. But how long, my question to you, Jonathan, so when you have the idea to get in, is there a time where you're like, right, now I wanted to get in, I missed that, it's gone a few pips up. Are you still married to that idea, or because it's gone, let's say 5 pips up, I'm going to see for the next one?
Well, if we switch over to my here, you will see that it hit my TP. So my trade was basically, from this area. This would probably have been my trade. So now it's not really clean, but so this is on the 5 minute, and I wouldn't have want price to hit this level, because that was the level that I wanted to take profit if I got in here. So now the price has already run up to that TP area. I mean, yes, there might be an opportunity to get in on the retest, but because that level looks so strong, it's a pretty good looking level. I would preferably have want to see price like that 5-minute candle get closed here and then retest, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So right now I'm seeing like my trade. The idea that I had for this was basically the same idea that you had. We wanted to see like a break of structure, and that break of structure happened, but it was quite clear, down here. And I guess the problem with this setup is the space between this level and that level is too small. So if we have like, I kind of wanted to get in here, but getting in at that level kind of feels like, I don't know, man. It feels like this level is just very strong resistance. So I guess it's just,
yeah. I feel like
I guess it's
something that I would trade this, and to be honest, when I see that the price of the pound, it's really not taking a really decisive decision to one direction, and I see that it's not breaking the prior lows. See, you've got a bit of that W formation on the lower time frame, let's say here, and this is something that I would have traded normally, like that. We used to talk, like I used to do all those double bottoms and double tops and certain things around certain areas. So when I would have seen this, for instance, that's when I would have like a push up, not breaking a prior low. And this is on a 1 minute time frame. That's when I would have taken my fib. And you see there you go, you got it straight on the 50. And that's where I would normally take an entry and take it. I would actually continue to trade this up. Now you could probably even get another entry on this right now. You could probably, now it's shown a little bit of direction. It's not breaking the lows. It's pushed up, breaking the top of this range. You could then just stick realistic, maybe not 10 lots. I don't know why this is still stuck on 10 lots, but then you can stick your order in there and just wait for it to come back down and then take it to continue up. And for pound to go up from here, it could just come back up and just go back up to where it just came from. It's a high probability that pound does stuff like that. So that's just the way that I would look at it.
Oh, go. Sorry. Go on.
Yeah, so that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking for that retest, just like it showed here, like the retest of that level. The problem I'm having here is like, imagine if this level, like you had all of this price action just a little bit higher, like up here, that would be perfect. But now I feel like to get in on that retest, get entry here, and then for price to move up here, because that's the first trouble area in my opinion. Now, of course, you go into the 4 hour. Yeah, I mean, you might like, there's a lot of wicks here. I don't like that. I want like a cleaner level up here.
Yeah.
So I feel like, I might want to put an entry, orders here. Where's TP going to be? I'm going to front run that one. I don't know, man. It's not worth 1 hour. I want like for a trade like this 2 hour at least. So for me, it's just when I get that thought, this is not what I'm looking for. This is not perfect. Yeah, let's, I'll just gonna leave it be.
Well, it's interesting now because we've actually broken the 23 with an aggressive candle. So in theory, this is only on the 5 minutes though. But in theory, this is highly probable that we're going to go and hit the 50% unless we break the low. So now the question would be, you could use the 23 as an entry. So the retest of the 23, because that's where the consolidation
top of the range as well.
And that's the level I'm looking at.
People would look at it. Yeah.
So then you can have a really tight stop, because if it breaks the lows here, then you're wrong. It's not going to continue higher. You're probably going to go and take the lows. So if this retests here, I would be willing to maybe re-enter this for another, this range here is not very big.
Yeah, and that 50% level actually does look quite good.
So that is 60. No, that is 7 pips from the 23 to 38. So is it worth it? That's the other question. Then you've got to go. So I have to trade this to the 50% if I get a 23. Yeah. And then it's 12 pips. So you get another 10 pips to the 50. And you've got the protection. And you've got the protection of a tight stop because you can place your stop
under that last pin bar. That's where I would have put it, under the pin bar.
Yeah, so you got 6 pips there.
Yeah,
like you can go for 10. You're risking 6. I know it's not risk reward. People will be like, that doesn't make sense, but it does because you're looking at price action.
Yeah, agreed.
But I don't think it's going to give it to us. I think it's going.
Yeah, it's gone. It's gone. It's dusted. But there you go. Guys, for any other questions before we get on and do the giveaway, you got any more questions for Yiannis or Jonathan or anything like that? And Yiannis, tell everybody. Maybe you can tell everybody where they can find you, show your Twitter or everything that you do behind the scenes for people that do want to take more knowledge away from you, since you're giving it away for free each day on your live stream.
Yeah, so you can find me on Conscious Day Trader on YouTube. I think Jonathan has put the links in the description.
Yes.
And the Instagram is Conscious. I know Conscious is quite hard to spell for people, so it's easier to have a link.
That's why it's in the description.
It's on the and it's on the thumbnail. It's on the thumbnail.
It's on the thumbnail. So Conscious Day Trader, you'll find my Instagram there. I always put I trade live Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and I save the Wednesdays for the private group. But yeah, nice. That's where you can find me.
I've got one question before we have to get everything started. In your experience, how does setting realistic expectations contribute to a trader's overall satisfaction and success? This guy comes up with some of the best questions ever, honestly.
Yeah, definitely. I love this guy.
Yeah. Have you got AI on the side there? That's very well written, that question. It's perfect.
You know, a genius does not reveal his secrets. Okay.
Absolutely. I never use AI in anything. So realistic expectations, I think that's a very, very good question. The biggest thing about trading, and in my experience, and I know Alex has all the background knowledge from the for the 5ers statistics and stuff, but I believe that the successful people that are going through the challenges and going through milestones, the account now, I had to pass, I believe it's 7 milestones to get to 250 because I started on a 25K. To get there, it's not one trade or 2 trades. It's just slowly falling in love with trying to identify what you need as a trader in your process that you need to improve. And the biggest thing is not letting go. Like, every time you're getting hit, if you know that you're not going to stop, you're only going to learn from it. If you know that there is an option to stop, then you're always going to trade from a perspective from fear. And you don't want to be doing that. You don't want to be trading with fear. That's the advice that's worked for me. Obviously, that doesn't work for everyone, but that's the one.
Can you do me a favor, Yiannis? Can you just go onto your daily chart, please?
My daily?
Yeah, yes. Just click on your daily. Look at the amount of trades that Yiannis has been doing. Now, I see charts and I see people that come in and out of the 5ers all the time. And you see some big profits and some massive losses. You can see the amount of time and the amount of trading Yiannis is actually doing, and you can see that just by looking at his Christmas tree of a chart. So
you can see my 20K loss there.
And you know what? That just goes that loss. You closed that, and look how far price pushed, and that small. Because you can see there was, after that day where you closed, you can see there was a little bit of a relief push. If you stayed in that trade and you just held on to that trade and you saw that relief, that little bit of breathing room, you would have maybe have thought, you know what, okay, maybe it's coming back towards me. You may have just blown all of that hard work that you've done all over those 2 years on holding on to the bias and holding on because you didn't want to lose because it was too painful to actually realize a loss that big. It's absolutely crazy stuff. But this just goes to show the realistic expectation. If you are looking to be a consistent trader, you are looking to push your trading as far as you can and become that trader that you want, it takes consistency and always showing up and always trying to improve the things that people are not normally trying to improve on. And that is, in Yiannis's opinion, that is you. So you're your own edge is what I'm trying to get at with that.
Very well.
So there you go. Now, the time is everybody's been waiting for. I'm going to put the magic word unless, Jonathan, you want to say anything before I throw the magic word out there for guys?
Yes, I do. So we've just hit 30K subscribers on our YouTube. We did so during this live stream. So thank you everyone for subscribing. And yeah, 30K. So what we have planned now is obviously because we are hitting that magical 30K level of subscribers, we are doing we're probably going to do like a special giveaway on Wednesday. So make sure you join that one. It's going to be the regular giveaway on steroids, probably.
Oh, is it? Gosh.
I have. That's just something I came up with now. So I'm going to have to talk with
you've told
everybody.
Now we're going to have to speak to Saul about this one.
Yeah. So if we can manage not to speak to Saul and he doesn't watch the live streams, we might be able to do something behind the scenes without him knowing. And then we'll take the consequences after, right? So you guys join on Wednesday. You never know what's going to happen. You never know.
If we get 20,000 likes, we're giving away a Lambo.
Is that Scruffy's Lambo on his
That's
desk?
That'll be Scruffy's Lambo. Yeah. Anyway, guys, the magic word, I'm going to post it in the chat, and we'll give it about 5 minutes for everybody to come in. You obviously 2 people already entered it, so just BTC to the moon. So copy it and paste it. And
you are manifesting that, Alex.
I am manifesting.
I love it. I love it.
I should have said Solana to the moon. There you go. BTC to the moon, everybody. Pump up the price action.
Oh my god!
Here on the 5ers.
Dude,
channel.
YouTube is gonna ban us from trying to pump cryptos.
That's it. The market makers are here. They know we're here. We're just gonna pump it up.
Yeah, we're not saying buy Bitcoin. We're just saying buy Bitcoin.
Yeah, I'm gonna beat the Bears.
I love
the shame they don't have the music. See, on StreamYard, when Ragnar comes on, he's got the music and it gets me excited. I'm like, oh, go on, Ragnar, do it. These guys.
I'm gonna bring Alex. I'll bring him for you. What day is it? Tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow.
I'll jump in. I'll just say, yo, where's Ragnar? And then you gotta bring him.
He's gonna be back. I need to set him up tonight.
Yeah, definitely.
What time are you live?
I do London Open, so 7 pre-market, so 7 till 9, 2 hours.
All right, I'll be there.
Yeah, it's nice stream. I actually like, because I'm in front of my desk anyway, doing all the jobs in the morning and stuff, and it's nice to put something on in the background that's trading related as well. So for a lot of people, 340 people in there already. I'm
gonna switch over quickly to USD CHF while we wait for all the names. Look at this. This is looking nice. But like this.
It's pushing.
Yeah, like, jump in.
Yeah, I'm thinking I might do that. I'm gonna put limit orders on the 50 to get that really get that best possible entry. All right, so I'm on MetaTrader. I haven't been on MetaTrader for trading directly on MetaTrader for such a long time.
It's so ancient, isn't it?
Dude,
I can't wait. I can't wait till we add some more. We added another platform, to be honest.
All right, so let's see. What I do usually is I do this, right, and something like that. I'm gonna place the TP down here. I'm gonna place it up. Stop loss and a TP up here. And what I do usually is just copy like this. Stop loss, got TP. Add. Oh no. What's the stop loss? Okay, yeah, is that right? Risk 0.25. the reward 3, and now I'm just supposed to press trade here, and it's gonna place orders. Yes. No, nothing happened. What the hell?
Who's gonna win?
I
love these little gifts. They're amazing, man. Absolutely amazing. Such entertainment for such cheap, cheap entertainment. You see.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Man, why is it not even? Oh god.
See, that is why you gotta manually do it, bro. You can't beat a manual entry.
Good old click.
Good old click and go or one click trading. That's
the chtup from MT5. You can never.
Do you know that one where you just got a new account though, and you see a trade, you want to get in right on the 50, and then you click it, and then it comes up with that massive window. You're like, what are you doing? God. Get off my screen, and you click it, and then the trade's already gone your direction. Especially if you're on the low.
It's the trade. Yeah. I know.
Oh god, that MT5.
Dude, this is crazy. If I were on TradingView, I would already be in this trade. This is so frustrating. I gotta get.
By the time you get the trade, you're gonna get a trade on the pound dollar, as it looks like it. Pushing back down.
Oh, look at that! The retest coming down. Nice.
Okay, we'll give it one more minute, guys. Make sure you like it. And how many likes? How many likes? They've got 10. They got 1,000 likes on there. Somebody just mentioned.
No, I don't think so, man.
Likes? No.
You think so?
Okay, so let me double check, and then obviously, as soon as I see that's gonna.
Oh, we always have almost 1K likes. That's insane.
Okay, if you guys can get it 1K likes before I check, then we'll do the 10 bootcamp accounts. And the bootcamp accounts are the best accounts because they really do cultivate good traders. I do believe that with the bottom of my heart. They such good accounts that allows you just to get your toes wet before going on a funded account. It gives you the guidelines to help you be consistent. You have to have a stop loss. You can only risk a maximum of 2%, which is crazy. We actually increased it because the amount of people that were complaining that it was too small. If it was up to me, it would still stay on 1%. But bootcamp, those are the accounts that we give away because we do feel those are the best accounts for traders. But let's have a look. And Yiannis, you started on the bootcamp, correct?
Yeah, my only account is a bootcamp.
There you go.
One account.
That's it. What is going on?
Come on, pound dollar. It's trying. It's not giving the price there. I'm basically waiting for a retracement, but it's holding.
I really need to get my MetaTrader set up correctly because this is terrible.
I can see the frustration.
Oh man. Finally managed to enter orders and yeah.
Okay.
It's
wow, 991. All right, I'll give it another 30 seconds for you guys to get it to 1,000 because it is quite close.
You see a lot of people, and this is where ICT sort of language would say, even if it taps into this is a valid entry. But for me, that doesn't allow me to get a nice stop.
Yeah,
adds
I think you could get a
risk.
It adds more. It adds to 8 pips. I know, like 6. The difference of sort of 6 to 8, but it adds up after a while.
100%.
Considering the cost as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I managed to get orders in. And the thing is, my apparently the color of my orders are black, so is my background. So I have to go in and change that. I can't believe, because I'm using this position size calculator here, which apparently didn't work for this trade. But it's basically, you can see here, it's basically the same lines here. So we'll see if we can come down just a little bit, hit that one. It's basically the same trade as this one. So this is what I'm looking at on USD CHF. Like if you're watching this and you like want to take a similar trade, I would probably wait for something like this. And you know, when you have that higher low, that's where I would probably enter. I wish I would have gotten an entry in like before, because that would have been on that wick.
Like how many pips are you aiming for this?
But this one, I don't really like. I almost never look at pips, honestly. But for this one right here,
looks about 20, 30 pips.
Yeah, 20, 21.
And what's that? USD CHF. How many? Yeah. What's the ATR on that?
I would say around about 30 at the moment, 40 now, around this ranging market at the moment. Let's have a look. Who's got the answer?
I don't have ATR on.
What's the average true range of this asset? Where did we need rag down here? Gosh. Okay, I'm gonna pull up the screen.
Next time.
Next time. We're gonna pull up the BTC to the moon, guys. So everything, you've all been waiting for this moment. I hope you enjoyed a lot of the value that was put out today, because to be honest, you know, bringing Yiannis on here and him giving some of the tips as well has helped me. I've written some stuff down, you know. I'm definitely going to work on the NLP stuff, and definitely going to jump in and see what blind spots that I can get rid of, because it can all help in making us better traders. Okay, so we got 10 accounts. Again, each person that gets that's a winner, you have to send me a screenshot of your YouTube profile to alex@the5ers.com straight away. Don't wait. If you wait over an hour, the scammer's already going to be there. So you've got to make sure you've done it straight away, and then I'll be able to sort the accounts for you. If it's over a couple of hours and you still haven't redeemed it, unfortunately, it's going to go to waste, because there's too many people trying to get the same accounts. Yeah. Jonathan, you got the effects, those nice little effects on the StreamYard that you used to play.
Hey.
I don't have them up here because I had to change some settings, some sound settings. So apparently they're gone. That's I'm currently just watching. Like, I'm very focused on like USD CHF here, like running away from my entry.
Yeah,
like an entry that I would have, an entry that I would have had, which is so frustrating. It's like I should have prepared that better.
No, so I think which was why when you're streaming, you're like, especially when you got a guest on, you want to ask questions. You're focused on as well the guest. And
so you're gonna blame me now. That's what's going on.
No, but I would definitely like. It's my fault that I didn't plan this better, because I like all day I was planning like how am I gonna like, I've been trading on TradingView for like 2 years now. Haven't touched MetaTrader, and doing everything with a copy trader. So today I'm going to start trading on MetaTrader, and I thought, it can't be that hard. And
whoa, your boy!
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, nice. I'm trying to botch your name up. I'm so sorry, man. But yeah, man, I'm super happy that you actually got it, because you've been in the live streams all the time and you've been giving so much,
that's amazing.
Great questions. I'm actually really happy about
Beautiful.
That one.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't leave now. Like,
yeah, now you said it was AI. I'm like, oh, is it fake account?
Sorry, that's me being super.
I was like, actually, they're really good questions. Not like, who comes up with these like such in-depth questions? But honestly,
it's really obviously not AI. Obviously not AI.
So we've got the 5 halfway.
All right, we got GBP USD.
I am in.
Testing the level.
Oh, nice.
Lies is winning an account, and GBP USD is testing a level, while USD CHF is running away from my entry, like literally is leaving me behind.
You gotta love
and GBP comes in and just teases me like, I'm still here. I'm still here. Hopefully you haven't forgotten about me. I haven't. But you know, I'm gonna enter GBP USD at market, and we will see USD CHF just run straight to TP while GBP USD takes me out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See,
I mean, that's trading.
On the lower time frames, I just go entry, man, like market entries. I'm quite impulsive as well. So me waiting for a price to come back to me, nah, never happening. I'm just jumping in market. Boop, boop.
I think I have to, you know, I think I kind of have to transition into being an impulsive trader, market enter type of person as well, if this is going to continue.
You gotta work to your strength, and I know, you know, I'm an impulsive person. Gotta use it as my strength and not my weakness.
Yeah, but honestly though, like if it would make no sense for me to go long GBP
Dirty
USD.
Dan.
Dirty Dan.
You dirty man. Dirty Dan.
How many are you done now?
Oh my God, got one more. That was a full 10 people. I've got an email. Everybody's got to email me, and you got to do this kind of giveaways. God, it's hard work, this trading stuff, you know.
Yeah, sure is.
There you go. Well,
looks
guys,
like GBP USD is breaking down here or something. Nope.
I do hope that everybody here had some true value, because I definitely did. We had some really good conversations, so making sure you turn up as well for the rest of the week. We've got Dirk tomorrow that he's going to be going through everything about Bitcoin. We're going to be talking a lot about crypto, and we're going to be doing some trading. And also on Wednesday, we're going to do a little 30K celebration. Yiannis, pleasure as always. Always good to see you and speak to you. And I'll let Jonathan do the outro. And yeah, man, thank you for being here.
Yeah, guys, I got nothing to add. Huge thank you to Yiannis. I think your analysis here was great. One takeaway for me at least is I'm probably going to be adding those big numbers. See how the market reacts to those. Very interested to see how that works in my trading.
Yeah, NLP definitely. And the book as well. What was the book? It was the body keeps the score. So make sure you guys have a look at Body Keeps the Score. Thank you very much, guys. See you tomorrow.
Thank you, guys. Now let's see if I can time this outro correctly. All right, take care, guys.
Hi guys, so thank you very much for watching the video. Now make sure you like and subscribe, and most of all, go into the YouTube and check our other content that we provide here at The 5ers.